Do not look at the man on platform 13. I take the 11:42 p.m. train from Central Junction every Friday. It's become a ritual of sorts. Me, headphones in, playlist on, slouched into one of the half-clean seats while the carriage rocks me home. Last week, I was late. Just a couple of minutes, but the 11:42 was already pulling away when I reached the platform. I swore under my breath and looked up at the schedule. The next train was at midnight. Platform 13. I didn't even know the station had a platform 13. It wasn't listed on the usual maps. No arrows pointing toward it. I asked a janitor where it was, and he looked at me like I asked how to get to hell. Far end, he muttered, past the locked gates. If it's open, don't wait long. And for God's sake, don't stare. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I followed the rusted signage down a dim hallway lit by flickering fluorescence. I found the gate, half-hinged, hanging open. On the other side was a stairwell choked in shadow, the kind of dark that doesn't bend under light. But I kept going. At the bottom, platform 13 stretched before me, empty, damp, with walls coated in years of soot and peeling paint. There was a single bench, and an old clock frozen at 12 o'clock. I pulled out my phone, no signal. Of course. Then I saw him. The man on the other end of the platform. Dressed in a brown suit like he'd stepped out of a war-era photograph. He stood with his back to me, motionless. His skin was tight. That's the only way I can describe it. Like it was stretched too far over his frame. I remembered the janitor's warning, don't stare. So I sat on the bench, eyes down, pretending I hadn't noticed. The sound of the approaching train came like a scream underwater, distant and heavy. When it pulled in, it didn't look like any train I'd ever seen. The windows were blacked out. The metal was scorched and rusted, some of it dented like it had been in a collision. The doors hissed open, and from the corner of my eye, I saw the man move. No footsteps. Just closer. When I blinked, he was standing 3 feet away. Still turned away, but closer. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I waited until the doors started to close. Then I stood and stepped on the train. Inside, the lights were dim. Every window was covered. The few passengers aboard were silent, unmoving. I sat down in the nearest seat, heart pounding like it was trying to escape. My phone vibrated. A single notification from an unknown number. Rules for Platform 13. Read carefully. Obey absolutely. 1. Do not speak to anyone while on the platform. Even if they know your name. 2. Do not look directly at the man in the brown suit. He is not facing away. 3. If the train has more than 6 carriages, wait for the next one. 4. Never sit in the third seat from the front. That seat is reserved. 5. Do not fall asleep. Not on the platform. Not on the train. 6. If the lights go out, hold your breath and count to 17. If you reach 18, it's too late. 7. Do not disembark unless the conductor nods at you. Ignore any announcements. 8. If someone offers you a paper ticket, take it. You'll need it later. 9. Should you see yourself across the aisle, close your eyes and pray you wake up. 10. Never ride twice. The second trip is a one-way journey. I wanted to laugh. A prank, maybe. An elaborate station hoax. But when I looked up, I saw the conductor standing in the doorway of the next carriage. He nodded. I got off at the next stop, somewhere I didn't recognize. No signs. No people. Just fog, and the same flickering lights. I walked the tracks for hours until I reached a road. A kind stranger gave me a ride back to the city. I haven't seen him in any mirrors since. That was last Friday. Tonight, it's almost 11:42 again. But my train pass shows a different message now. Your return journey awaits. Platform 13. Midnight. I won't be late tonight. But if you ever are, and someone tells you to wait at platform 13, don't. Or at the very least, remember the rules. I tried to ignore it. The message, the memories, the rules. I deleted the text, blocked the number, even snapped my train pass in half like that would somehow stop whatever had started. But you can't delete what's in your bones. I dream of metal screeching against metal, of lights that don't flicker but pulse like a heartbeat, of windows that show me things I've never seen, yet know intimately. Every night since, I've woken up at exactly 12 a.m. gasping, my ears filled with the sound of the train's arrival. I've unplugged my clocks, taken sleep aids, even stayed at friends' places. It always finds me. Then, 3 days ago, I got another message. No number. No interface. Just text flashing across the screen of a dead phone. You have seen Now you must return. I tried to fight it. I told myself I wouldn't go. But last night, I blacked out in my apartment. One moment I was on my couch, trying to drown everything in white noise, the next, I was there, standing on platform 13, hands shaking, the old clock still frozen at midnight. The train wasn't there yet, but I could hear it coming. A low groan beneath the world, like the planet itself was tired of spinning. Then I noticed something different. There were others. 4 people, scattered across the platform. Each standing alone, avoiding eye contact, stiff with terror. One of them, a middle-aged man with bandaged hands, whispered something as I passed, "Don't take the third door." Not again. He didn't look at me when he said it. He was staring into the tunnel. Waiting. Dreading. The train arrived, a hideous groan of metal and steam. Its arrival seemed to pull at the air, like gravity itself bent inward to accommodate it. This time, it had 8 carriages. I remembered rule number 3. If the train has more than 6 carriages, wait for the next one. But none of us moved. I wanted to scream, to run, but my legs betrayed me. We boarded together, like mourners at a funeral we knew was our own. Inside, the air was different. Thicker. It smelled of copper and rot. The lights were dimmer, flickering in random patterns, revealing glimpses of strange stains on the seats and claw marks on the doors. Every seat had a name etched into the leather, names I swear I recognized. One said Eleanor Parks. That was my grandmother's name. She died in 2003. The seat was wet. I sat down in the 4th seat from the back, carefully avoiding the 3rd seat near the front. Across from me was a woman cradling something in her lap. It looked like a child, but it never moved. Never made a sound. When I blinked, it wasn't there anymore. Neither was she. The conductor passed by. This time, I saw his face. It wasn't human. No eyes. Just hollow sockets that seemed to suck in the flickering light. His jaw was dislocated, hanging unnaturally low, and from it came a sound, not a voice, not words, just static, like a detuned radio full of screaming. He pointed at me. Then everything changed. The windows began to glow, showing not the outside world, but scenes from my life twisted into something grotesque. My parents, skin peeled back like pages. My first dog, twitching with too many legs. Me, standing outside the train, staring in, bleeding from the eyes and smiling. And the train sped up. Faster than any train should be able to move. The pressure in the cabin pushed against my skull. My ears rang. I tried to stand but my legs were rooted. Someone screamed from behind me. Then another voice, my own voice, whispered from the seat beside me. "You broke the rules." I turned. There I was, pale, grinning, eyes black as tunnels. "You looked. You boarded twice." Suddenly I remembered. That was my 2nd trip. I don't know what happened after that. I woke up in my apartment, face down in the bathtub, wrist scratched raw with something sharp. My phone was beside me, brand new, though I hadn't bought one. The screen blinked once, showing a final message. "Welcome aboard, conductor in training." It's not a station anymore. It's a loop. A test. A feeding ground. And I failed. Now I see them. Every Friday at 11:42. The people who are late. The ones who get sent to platform 13. I'm not really alive anymore, not in the traditional sense. I wear a suit now. Brown, too tight. I walk without footsteps. I don't speak, but sometimes, just before the train pulls in, someone sees me. So if you ever find yourself waiting at Central Junction, and someone tells you platform 13 is open tonight, don't go. But if you do, don't look at me. Don't speak to me. And never, ever, take the train twice. Because I won't be able to help you. Not anymore. And the train doesn't stop. It just keeps going, bending through impossible angles, carving its way through a landscape no human map could contain. At some point, I stopped recognizing time. There are no clocks here, only the shrieking of the rails, the pulsing lights, and that eerie sense that something is watching you, even when the cabin appears empty. There are more passengers now. They don't all come at once, they drip in. One every few hours. Some arrive with eyes wide in terror, clutching their train passes as if they were talismans that might protect them. Others sit quietly, calmly, as though they've accepted their fate, or worse, as though they remember it from before. And then there are the ones like me, the ones becoming something else. You know them when you see them. Skin a shade too tight. Smile lingering a second too long. They stop blinking after a while. Stop breathing too, but that part comes later. The first time I tried to speak again, it came out as static. I had sat down next to a boy, maybe 11, who was crying silently, curled in a seat with his knees pulled up. I reached out, meaning to comfort him. Maybe warn him. But when I opened my mouth, all that emerged was a hiss, like a radio tuned to the dead. His eyes met mine, and he screamed, clutching his ears. Blood started to drip from his nose before he vanished, just gone, like a VHS tape ejected mid-play. That's when I realized the train doesn't just take you. It uses you. You see, it's not a vehicle. It's a creature. Metal is its skin, the rail its spine. The tracks are its feeding lines, and every carriage is a stomach. You board thinking it's a train, but you're stepping into the belly of something ancient, something that remembers when man first feared the dark. And now, I'm part of it. They gave me a coat. That same brown one, tailored like it belonged to an undertaker from another century. It smells like mold and dried tears. When I put it on, the memories came, not mine, but the ones of all who wore it before. I felt every scream echo in the walls. Saw every passenger who had ever broken a rule. Some were swallowed whole. Others weren't so lucky. Their screams linger, looped in the wires that stretch across the ceiling. If you listen closely enough, you can still hear them pleading. Bargaining. No one bargains with the train. We pass through strange stations now. Once, we stopped at a platform covered in snow, though the air inside was sweltering. A woman boarded wearing a wedding dress soaked in something red. She was humming a lullaby, but her mouth didn't move. I watched her walk to the third seat from the front, the reserved one, and sit down. Her head twitched once, like a marionette whose strings were jerked too fast. Then her entire body shuddered. "Hello," wet gurgling sound escaped her lips before her skin collapsed inward like paper soaking in acid. What was left of her was scooped up into the floor, as though the train drank her. That seat was clean the next time someone boarded. Every Friday now, I see the same pattern. The real world briefly overlaps with ours. A door opens. A late passenger steps through. Sometimes it's someone I recognize, a classmate, a stranger I once brushed past at the station, even my old boss. They never recognize me. Not until it's too late. By the time the train doors seal behind them, their names are already written on the seats. This is not coincidence. This is design. The worst part is what comes between the stations. Out there in the dark, something else is moving. Not trains. Not passengers. Hunters. They pace along the side of the train, claws scraping the exterior like nails on a chalkboard. If the lights flicker twice, we all stay still. Hold our breath. Wait. Because if one of them sees you move, it boards. The train lets it. And when it walks the aisle, you pray it chooses someone else. Last Friday, it chose me. It stepped into the carriage, its form not fully solid, more like a silhouette of smoke and teeth, and slid toward my seat. I sat frozen, trying not to breathe, my fake smile stitched tightly across my face. It paused before me. I could feel its breath, cold and dry, like hair from a tomb, on my skin. And then it whispered, voice slithering into my ear like a needle. "You remember too much." The thing didn't take me. But it left something behind. Ever since, I can feel something inside me twitching, like there's a second heartbeat, slightly out of sync. And sometimes, I wake up and I'm not in the same carriage I fell asleep in. Sometimes I'm in places where the seats are gone and the walls pulse like flesh. One of the other conductors, an old woman with no tongue, once handed me a torn slip of paper. On it was scrawled in blood, "Eventually, you conduct or you feed." I think that's what this place is. Not a punishment. A transition. We're all becoming. Some become parts of the train. Others fuel it. The lucky ones become watchers. Conductors. Enforcers of the rules. We don't have control, but we have purpose. The train gives us that much. And so I stand at the platform now, brown coat tight around my frame, smile affixed, hollow eyes searching the crowd. I don't choose who boards. I only watch. Warn, when I'm allowed. Most don't listen. Some do. But no one escapes. The train arrives. It always arrives. So, if you're reading this, if you're holding a ticket you don't remember buying, or if your usual platform has suddenly closed and a worker tells you there's been a rerouting, don't go down the tunnel. If you see a platform numbered 13, walk away. Run if you must. Because once you board, the rules bind you. And if, in the faint glimmer of the train's headlights, you see me standing there, eyes dull, mouth stitched into a grin, I beg you, Look away. Because I won't stop you. And the train? It doesn't stop.